When we think of compassion, perhaps the image that comes to mind is that of a loving mother caring for her child or a friend reaching out in a moment of need. But have you ever stopped to ponder the true weight of compassion in our lives and spirits? How do the sacred texts of different traditions teach us about this essential value? Imagine for a moment a reality where there is no compassion. It would be a cold place, wouldn't it? A place where loneliness and selfishness would reign, where everyone would be for themselves, indifferent to the struggles and pains of others. Now, reflect, is this the world we want to live in? Sacred texts, regardless of religious tradition, unanimously emphasized the importance of caring for others. For instance, in the Bible, Colossians 3 verse 12 exhorts us to clothe ourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. These are not merely a superficial list of qualities but attributes that transform. These words were not chosen randomly. If we think about it, compassion is like a seed that, when planted in the fertile soil of the human heart, has the power to sprout and bear fruits of countless other virtues. Can you recall a moment when you felt truly understood or supported? How did it affect you? Moving on to the lessons we can extract from sacred texts, there is the well-known parable of the Good Samaritan found in the Gospel of Luke. In it, a man, left to die on the side of the road after a robbery, receives help not from his peers but from a stranger, a Samaritan, who doesn't hesitate to come to his aid. What can we learn from this counterintuitive attitude? This narrative challenges each of us to look beyond the boundaries of the familiar, the comfortable. True compassion doesn't choose whom to give itself to, it flows freely and generously. But in a society marked by divisions and prejudices, how can we cultivate this virtue? Are we willing to expand our horizons and express care even to those considered others? Eastern traditions also have much to teach us about compassion. In Buddhism, compassion or karuna is one of the two qualities, along with wisdom, to be cultivated on the path to enlightenment. A compassionate person, according to Buddhism, is not only one who feels the pain of others but is moved to alleviate such suffering. How can these teachings resonate in our daily actions? We can, for example, integrate small acts of compassion into our everyday lives, such as a friendly word, active listening, a less judgmental gaze. It's interesting how such a common word carries a depth that we often only realize when we ourselves are the beneficiaries, isn't it? What if we decided to turn compassion into a constant practice? How would that change the dynamics of our relationships? Approaching others with a gesture of compassion is essential for cultivating a more humane and harmonious existence. One can sense a call here for a silent and powerful revolution, one that begins in the individual heart and expands to embrace all of humanity. The sacred texts of various cultures and epochs agree, compassion is a transformative force. It builds bridges where there were once chasms and plants hope in lands desolated by indifference. Caring for others is, above all, a revolutionary act of love. Now, let's think together. What is the last act of compassion you remember practicing? Perhaps it was something small, maybe something more significant. Do not underestimate the power of these gestures. True revolution begins with simple yet determined steps. Matthew 7 verse 12 reminds us of the golden rule, by saying, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them." Reflect for a moment on this powerful message. It is not just a moral principle but a call to action, urging us to be agents of change through genuine care for others. However, compassion is not a one-way street. As we open ourselves to others, we also open ourselves to receiving. There is an intrinsic exchange in the compassionate act that nourishes both the giver and the receiver. Compassion breaks chains of selfishness and opens pathways for grace to enter and transform. As James 2 verses 15 to 16 says, if a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, be warmed and filled, without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? This passage not only speaks of the indispensability of concrete acts of kindness but also emphasizes the importance of turning compassion into action. Inspired by these texts, we are motivated not only to talk about compassion or feel compassion but to live compassion. To ask ourselves every day, how can I lighten someone else's burden today? It is not just a lofty ideal but a consciously chosen lifestyle. But how do we live this compassion in the fast-paced and often indifferent world of our days? Start with clear intentions and small actions. Develop the practice of looking around and truly seeing others, beyond the surfaces. Be determined in your acts of kindness, offer your help before it is requested, listen without interrupting, advise with gentleness. In Hebrews 13 verse 2, we are reminded, do not neglect hospitality, for some have entertained angels without knowing it. Imagine that every act of compassion you practice may be touching something divine in the other person. With this mindset, you not only transform yourself but also transform your environment, your community, and yes, the world. Let us, therefore, be bridge builders, cultivators of gardens, not just in words but in actions. Compassion is the language that breaks all barriers, a universal language that everyone understands. It is the fuel for a meaningful life and the catalyst for a more just and loving world. Motivation and determination go hand in hand with compassion. It is not a journey free of obstacles, but it is certainly a journey filled with rewards. The words conveyed by the sacred scriptures are not just stories or commandments. They are living, active wellsprings of wisdom, influencing generations to live fully and compassionately. Therefore, I encourage you, be bold in your compassion. Start today. Find in your faith, in your sacred texts, the source of a strength that transcends human understanding. Be a living example of the truths you preach and teach. Your life will be measured not only by what you have achieved but, above all, by the love and care you have shown to your fellow journeyers. Compassion, illuminated by sacred teachings, becomes a compass guiding our steps and a beacon of hope in this world so in need of genuine love and care. In the journey of life, with its highs and lows, its beauty and struggles, there comes a moment when words convey more than mere concepts. They become vehicles of energy, faith, and hope. Thus, from thought flows the word, and from the word emerges the prayer, this intimate connection that links us to the divine. Transitioning from this reflection to a state of communion and supplication, let us enter a moment of prayer. O God of infinite kindness and mercy, the one who is the source of all love and compassion, we turn our hearts to you in this moment of stillness and reflection. In the vastness of your creation, we are led to contemplate the beauty of your love, a love that calls us to be mirrors of your compassion. Allow us, Lord, to be channels of this grace, that our eyes may see beyond appearances. Grant us the gift of empathy to feel others' pain as our own, the gift of wisdom to provide genuine help, and the gift of strength to not turn away from the suffering of others. Help us fulfill the golden rule your word teaches, treating others with the same care and respect we desire for ourselves. We ask, O Father, that you teach us to be extended hands to those who have fallen, voices of hope to those who have lost faith, and welcoming hugs to those who feel forgotten. Guide us on the path of unconditional compassion so that, like the Good Samaritan, our love and actions may know no boundaries. May our lives be a living prayer, filled with acts of kindness that declare your presence among us. May we be quick to listen and slow to judge, inspired by your supreme example of love for our neighbors. Lord, in this world fragmented by conflicts and indifference, We implore for more hearts moved by authentic compassion that we learn from you. May we unite in a communion of spirits seeking to alleviate each other's burdens, knowing that by lightening the burden of others, we walk lighter and closer to you. We thank you for the promise and hope that even in the smallest acts of love and care, we are doing your will and spreading the light that once illuminated perfect compassion in Jesus Christ. May we follow his footsteps and live his words. Amen. May this prayer resonate in our hearts and manifest in our actions. Let it be a safe harbor that reminds us of the divine call to compassion and genuine care for those who cross our paths. And now, after reflecting together, it is time to turn these words into action. If you resonate with today's message and wish to continue this journey of faith and reflection, become a part of our community, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to not miss any videos. Don't forget to leave a like. It's quick, simple, and immensely helps in spreading these words that can comfort and motivate many hearts. Share your thoughts and experiences about compassion in the comments. Your interaction makes our community even stronger and more united. Last but not least, share this video. It could be that act of love and compassion someone needs. Together, we can be messengers of the kindness and love the world so desperately needs. The journey continues, and every step you take is valuable. May the blessings of compassion and wisdom always be with you.